understand that which one is for what purpose.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
I
let me.
simply
I will take one day that session. Let's see that even I didn't go through well I didn't go through those parameters never actually. So as a
Yeah,
administrator,
yeah.
we will ask them to that Unix admin to create those kernel level parameters. They will set actually. So mainly that because
Okay.
those semaphores are the buffer size of the MQ. I mean, say each queue
Mm-hmm.
there is a cache. So how much you can able to store that message in your cache. So that value will be set into the kernel level.
Oh, okay. So in that file, I saw one command needs to be executed. That
Mm-hmm.
opt mqm bin directory, under the product installation directory, there is a configuration mq config something. So
Okay.
we have to run that using the mqm ID so to check whether the all system level parameters are correct. And it
Yes.
shows like pass file, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If
So
you are
that one we
using
have to
old
verify
version
and
of
make sure
this
everything
one
is
actually
passed on.
Unix operating system, what happen now that sometimes MQ latest version will not be supported. Okay, they have given actually that one script to MQ is providing that script to. If you run the script, it will tell you that what are the parameters you need to set.
Default
The
parameters,
default
okay.
parameters. Okay, so based on that, if even though if it is not able to if it is not passed those parameters also, you can able to run the MQ. But in future, if you face that, if you are facing any kind of issue, we need to reset the change, we need to reset those parameters.
Oh,
Still you
okay,
can able to
okay.
install, it will not stop you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. Actually, installed after that only I set couple of parameters, but it didn't stop me to. It didn't ask me any information.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah,
will not
actually
stop.
one parameter I set explicitly, the keep alive timeout. Actually, when I run the MQ config,
Okay.
it showed me one of the component file, the keep alive timeout. So
Okay.
it was set 1000 to 12,000 something in my system.
Mm-hmm.
Recommended value is 300 seconds, 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So then
The
I
TCP
updated
IP
the kernel
value which
parameter
has
of
to be set
system
into
also,
the,
then make sure everything is passed.
yes, it's required actually because of there is ARPAN connections. When sometimes
Mm-hmm.
application will disconnect like forcibly, but MQ level that connection is still alive, right?
Oh,
So what
okay.
happened now? It will also even though connection has been disconnected also MQ level still the connection is alive. So due to that one, if the
Mm.
new connection if they wanted to open, we have said something 300 connections. But my MQ level I have as of now 298 connections. But
Mm-hmm.
when that MQ level it will even the two connections existed also, those two connections are ARPAN connections you can say. Sometimes what happens even though connection has been disconnected but MQ level still alive. So those
It is
connections
not purging like.
will be
Oh.
if the TCP IP value you have set the some value within the within this value, if there is no connection persist or it is alive, then that connection will be discarded like garbage collection.
GC, like
Yeah.
GC in Westphere or JVM.
Yes.
JVM.
Yeah, like that actually if the,
GC in
which
JVM.
are that ARPANA connections which automatically it will be disconnected, it will be
Mm-hmm.
removed.
Okay, MQM will clean up the job or system will clean up the job. This
That is
parameter
MQ queue
people like.
manager will clean that job actually.
Key manager will clean up that
Yeah.
particular job. Okay, okay, fine.
Okay, let's continue the today's session. I hope everybody see my
Okay.
desktop.
Still no.
One second.
Ram, your screen is not shared.
Yeah,
Okay, now
I
I can.
shared now. It is. I think so. It should be. It will be visible now.
Hmm.
You can see, right? Sudhakar, Pavan. So everybody can see my desktop now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. The last class we have seen that intercommunication using the command prompt, even Explorer also we have seen that how to configure the intercommunication. So what is mean by intercommunication? When queue manager one queue manager want to communicate to the other queue manager, so we will set up the point-to-point communication by defining the remote queue definition, by defining XMRT queue and center channel. Okay, so this configuration is called actually intercommunication, or we will call as even distributed queue management also, or point-to-point communication. So when the two queue managers want to talk each other by defining the remote queue definition, by defining the remote queue definition, is the setup is named as intercommunication. So we have completed the task actual intercommunication. So let's see that today using the intercommunication we have a dead letter queue concept. When the request has been sent from the one queue manager to another queue manager, the request has been sent from the one queue manager to another queue manager, but there is a queue level, there is a depth actually. The queue level, there is a queue depth. By default, queue depth is having that 5000 messages. This is my queue. The queue having the 5000 messages queue depth actually. When it is exceeded, if I am sending that more than 5000 messages, unfortunately my destination application is not able to pick these messages. It was down. My application was down, so that queue is piling up. So continuously my queue is piling up. So what happened if the queue is piling and if it is reached to the more than 5000 messages? If it is reached to the more than 5000 messages. So any idea what will happen if the queue depth is reached to the if the exceeds the more than queue depth, whatever we have specified value? Pavan, do you have any idea? This is my A server, this is my B server. So I have installed MQ software here. Here also I have installed MQ software. Okay. Now A want to talk to the B queue manager. When A is sending message to the B queue manager's particular local queue, a queue is a safe place where we can store the messages, right? Here A queue manager is talking to the B queue manager. A is keep on sending the messages. A doesn't know queue destination queue reached to the 5000 messages because of he doesn't aware of that B application is down. B side some consumer who is receiving those messages with that application is down. Unfortunately we have stopped or it is down. So my application, the source application keep on sending the messages. It is reached to the 5000 queue depth. Still they are sending the messages. So what happened? If the message depth is reached to the max message queue depth. The queue depth is reached to the whatever the current depth is reached to the max depth. So what happened to your message? So what IBM is suggesting? So your message will not be lost any time. But there is a scenario your message will be lost. Here actually if the queue depth is reached to 5000 messages, if the scenario is first scenario, the message is persistent message or non-persistent message. There are two types of messages is available in MQ level. One is that persistent messaging and non-persistent messaging. So what happens if I am sending that non-persistent message? If you are sending that non-persistent message, that message will be lost. Okay, that message will be lost. So the non-persistent messages, not persistent. Okay, if you are sending the non-persistent message, your message will be lost. If I am sending that persistent message, what happened to your persistent message? If you are sending the persistent message, your message will not be lost, but communication between the A to queue manager will be blocked. Communication will be blocked. Okay, the communication between the A queue manager to B queue manager will be blocked, and the persistent messages will be sitting in the A side transmission queue. A side XMIT queue. We have a transmission queue called even XMIT queue also sometimes, every time. So XMIT queue and transmission queue both are same. So the message will not reach to the destination. The message will be lying in the source side XMIT queue. Source side XMIT queue. And the communication between the A to B queue manager will be lost. A does not send only one queue. It will send to the multiple queues in the destination queue manager, right? I cannot send only that from A to B queue manager only one queue. I may send multiple queues actually. I have 1000 queues in the destination side. A can able to send all these 1000 queues too. But here, when the one queue full condition, it is impacting to the other queues also. It is impacting to the all other queues also from the particular source to destination queue. So it means all the queues are getting impacted due to one queue full condition. So these are the two disadvantages when the queue full condition is existed. When the queue depth is reached to the max queue depth. Okay, if it is a non-persistent message, your message will be lost and the flow will be continued. A is sending to this queue, right? So this queue depth is reached to 5000, but even though the message is non-persistent message, so that your message will be lost and the communication will be continued. The communication will not be disconnected, but you are losing the messages because of it is a non-persistent data. Non-persistent data will be lost whenever the queue depth is full. Whenever the queue depth become full actually. But if I am sending the persistent messages, if the queue depth is reached to the max depth, your message will not be lost. Your message will be lying in the source side XMIT queue and the communication between the source to destination queue manager will be blocked. So due to one queue depth reached to the max depth, all other queues will be impacted. No message will be moved from the particular source to destination queue manager. From A to B only it will be impact. For B to C, B to A, it will not again something like C to B. C also communicating to B queue manager. C to B, it will not impact anything. This is now C. C is talking to the B queue manager or C is talking to the A queue manager. It will not impact anything. Only the respect to A is sending message to this particular queue. Because of that one only A will be impacted. A to B channels will be stopped. A to B channels will be in that retrying status. The communication will be stopped. Okay, this is one reason. This is due to queue depth. But I don't want to lose even any kind of anywhere. So how do you survive those messages? How do you save those messages? Even though non-persistent message also I don't want to lose. Even though non-persistent message also I don't want to lose. So here, so what we have to do now? So we have to implement, there is a concept called dead letter queue. So each queue manager, we have to create one dead letter queue. So what is dead letter queue? A dead letter queue is a queue which is a one local queue. So this local queue will be used for to route the undelivered messages. To route the undelivered messages. I heard something, someone is speaking to me. Any doubts, anybody?
Ramesh here.
Yeah, Ramesh.
You say that if the queue is full, we cannot send any more messages from A to B.
No, we can send the messages. You can send the messages, but the message will be, if the persistent message, the message will be lying in the transmission queue. It will not reach to the destination. If it is a non-persistent message, your message will be lost. More than 5000, whatever the queue depth is there, now more than 5000 messages. So those messages will be lost.
Okay, so I have set persistent message. So if I send 5000 message, it will lie in the transmission queue of first A.
No, if the queue depth until 5000 message depth is reached, your message will come to the destination queue. Once the queue depth is reached to 5000, after that 5000 messages, whatever you are sending, those messages will be lying in your transmission queue only, your source system side only.
Okay, so once queue full, the channel will be stopped.
Yes, once the queue full, the channel will go to the retrying status. It will not go stop, it will go to retrying status. The retrying doesn't,
Okay,
it means it is a not stopper status, it will try to retry. We don't know that queue may be clear after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, right? So that the channel still will retry the messages actually, which are lying in the transmission queue. It will try to retry.
Okay,
there is a timeout interval. So within the timeout interval, the message can be can clear. It will be clear. If still the message will be lying in the transmission queue, even the timeout is the time period is exceeded, then your channel will go to the stopper status between the A to B queue manager.
Okay, I have a scenario like I have created a couple of channels, not only one channel for a host A to host B. I created a couple of channels like country-wise application and country-wise channel.
Okay.
For Russia one channel, Australia one channel, US one channel.
Okay.
So in that case, only one particular country-related channel will be stopped. The rest will be still running, or all channels will be stopped.
Only the particular channel will be stopped because of the from A to B queue manager you have specified XMIT queue name in the channel level, right? You should specify the XMIT queue name in the channel level. So that particular channel only will be blocked. If you are sending to A to B queue with the different channel name, it will not be impacted.
Oh, okay. Fine, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so here the queue depth is reached to the 5000, but I am losing the messages when the message is non-persistent message. But what IBM is telling that your message will not be lost anytime. So how do you save those messages if I am sending the non-persistent messages? There is a concept called dead letter queue. So what is mean by dead letter queue? A dead letter queue is a queue. A dead letter queue is a local queue again. So this local queue having the functionality to store the undelivered messages. So more than 5000 depth is reached. Even it is a persistent or non-persistent messages. If the queue put someone is disabled, my application queue, my queue depth actually someone is disabled by the put permission was disabled, or something like max message length. There are some scenarios. I will explain those scenarios. Don't worry. So due to that scenarios, one the queue full condition, the second one is queue inhibited condition, queue max length issue, the message max length. And queue not found issue, remote queue manager issue, unknown remote queue manager issue,
What do you mean by unknown remote queue manager?
Yeah, I will tell you.
Okay.
Unknown remote queue manager. If I am sending that reply, okay, A to B queue I am sending the reply. Something like due to something like when I am sending B to A reply, so sometimes there is a firewall issue between the B to A queue manager. So B is not able to identify the whom I am sending the message. Okay, B to A I am sending the reply. Unfortunately, B to A there was the communication was blocked due to some firewall issue. So what happened, you know? So when the B is trying to communicate to the A queue manager IP address and port number, B is not able to find that particular queue manager name which is specified in the message header. Message header I will specify the something like A queue manager and something reply queue name. Okay, but using that message header, my B queue manager is not able to identify. So that the queue manager name is wrongly configured as per the message header. The queue manager name is wrong queue manager name. For example, wrong queue manager name we have specified. Okay, when you are sending a message from A to B queue manager also, sometimes even the XMIT, even the remote queue definition level you specify the remote queue manager name, right? So that remote queue manager might be wrong queue manager name we have specified. There are certain reasons actually. When you are sending reply back, when you are sending message from A to B queue manager, you have given the wrong queue manager name, so that the message will go to the dead letter queue. 2087. The reason code is 2087. Unknown remote queue manager name. Queue full condition. Queue is inhibited condition. The max message length issue. Queue not found issue. Unknown remote queue manager issue. So due to these reasons, your message will be lost, or your message will be lying in the transmission queue. Okay? If it is a non-persistent message, your message will be lost. All these scenarios, if it is a non-persistent message, your messages will be lost. If it is a persistent message, your message will be lying in the XMIT queue with the source side. So that here actually I am losing my messages when I am sending the non-persistent message. I don't want to log even the single request where I am sending even non-persistent message also. So in order to avoid this loss of messages, we have to set up a queue in the queue manager level. The queue name is called actually dead letter queue. The queue name is called dead letter queue. So dead letter queue is a local queue. So this queue should be created for the each queue manager. So we have each queue manager should create only one dead letter queue. By default, this functionality will be existed for the system.dead.letter.queue. This is a system.queue. This is a system default queue. This queue already existed for the each queue manager, but we have to assign this queue to the each queue manager. By default, this was existed, but until unless we have assigned to this queue to the particular queue manager level property, then only this queue will be started working. Okay, you can create your own queue also, or you can assign this queue to your queue manager. How to assign that new queue? I will create my own queue as a dead letter queue, and I will assign that queue to my queue manager. Okay, what I will do now, define queue local. My queue name is something like dead.queue, like system.dead.letter.queue. So as per the recommendation, you should not use the any system objects. You should not use the any system objects. What I am doing now, I will create a one queue with my queue name dead.queue, and I will assign the properties of the system.dead.letterqueue. So that now dead queue is created with the dead letter queue, with the system.dead.letterqueue. Whatever the attributes, whatever the functionality having the system.dead.letterqueue, the same functionality will be created for the dead.queue, and I will assign this dead.queue to my queue manager. So queue manager level, we have a property called dead queue. So dead queue should be altered with the whatever the queue you have created. Okay, now this is how to assign the dead letter queue to your queue manager. So what I am doing now, I have created one queue with the name of dead.queue, and I have assigned that this dead.queue system.dead.letter properties to my dead queue. After creating the dead letter queue, I am assigning the name of the dead letter queue to my queue manager by altering the queue manager property. This is the property, the dead queue is the property to alter the particular queue manager level properties. To alter this property in order to set the dead letter queue. So when you set this configuration, so when we have these issues, when we have the queue full condition or queue inhibited condition or max message length issue, not found issue, any reason, the message will go to the dead letter queue. The message will go to the dead letter queue. When the dead letter queue is becoming full, when the dead letter queue is having something like messages, you can able to recover those messages. Those messages will not be processable from the dead letter queue, but we can move the from dead letter queue to destination queue by verifying the particular issue. The queue full condition, when the message having the dead letter queue, when the message has been reached to the dead letter queue, we can browse out messages. So message level there is some issue. Message level we can able to reason for the why the message moved to dead letter queue. So by reading that reason header or message header, you can fix that issue as per the queue full or queue inhibited condition, and we can move the message from dead letter queue to destination queue using that there is a different concept. Okay, using that dead letter handler concept. Okay, so everyone understand this concept. So at least up to this dead letter queue creation and assigning the queue to the queue manager. Sudhakar and Ramesh, Yusuf.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, got it.
You got it now? Okay. So let's configure that using the MQ Explorer, using the graphical user interface. Pawan and Rajshekhar, we have the two types of administration mechanisms. One is that command line interface. The second one is that GUI, MQ Explorer. Yes.
Will you ask everyone to be on mute while they are not speaking? Because I am hearing a lot of fan sound.
अरे रामप्रसाद अरे कोई डोर इसको माట్లాడు. So please all, can you mute your all speakers when you want to speak? Actually just unmute and speak to me, because I think so others are getting that the noise. Okay, so what I am going to do now, the same concept I will show you even command line interface, even that MQ Explorer also. So let's create again two queue managers and we will set up the intercommunication, and we will do that dead letter queue configuration also, so that it will be understandable. So the new joinees also. So now I am going to be create two queue managers. My queue manager name is queue manager A. So just assume that those two queue managers are running in the two different places. Okay, but here what I am doing. So those two queue managers I am going to be creating the same system, but in the real time. So those two queue managers will be existed in the different, I mean remotely. So I am going to be create a queue manager name called QMA. A queue manager is a MQ server. It is a main component for the MQ. So this will provide the communication between the queue manager to queue manager, or at the same time queue manager will provide the queuing services to the one or more clients. I mean, so other applications can able to interact with the queue manager either to put or to get the message from the queue. So I am going to be create a queue manager name called queue manager A, and just click next. Okay, so each queue manager having the one port number. So by default MQ port number will take 1415. If you want, you can change this port number as per your client requirement. Just click on the next and finish. So my queue manager is getting created now. I am going to be create another queue manager B. You can create n number of queue managers in your local system. So there is no limitation. You can create n number of queue managers, but your system has to capable to take those many queue managers to process actually.
So how much disk space will it take, RAM, each queue manager?
Yeah, we have to specify that logging mechanism. So there is a logs, queue manager level logs, and I mean to the queue manager transaction logs, and we have that queues related, each queue also one file system only. So when you created 1,000 queues, all these 1,000 queues will be occupied your disk space. When you are sending the messages will be occupied your disk space. Okay, so based on that, so that queue can store up to till 5.3 version 2 GB. 2 GB of data can be stored, but after 5.3 version it can be any much actually. It can be, there is no limitation. You can based on your file system, based on your the disk space, it can able to store the messages. Okay, either it is a 10 GB or 20 GB or 30 GB or 1 TB. That is your up to your disk space capability. Okay.
Okay. RAM,
Yeah.
one more question.
Yeah.
In WebSphere application server, whenever we start a JVM, so it runs in the RAM, right? So
Yeah.
is it similar for the case of queue manager also?
Yeah, queue manager also one kind of runtime component only.
Okay, how much RAM space does it need by default, and how much we can set?
The RAM JVM, that is actually we have to specify in that application server, but MQ level there is no JVM level. You have to specify some value or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, but which is a one application server is a one JVM, right? You have to specify some value for that, right? But
Yeah,
MQ level, MQ manager, it's not a JVM, which is a completely C program.
Okay.
So you need not to specify your system having the good CPU, that queue manager will take that CPU utilization, the RAM only. So it will not occupy much RAM or something, but it is not a catchy. So it is one run. It is already one. There are so many objects will get created when you create a queue manager. So this will occupy the complete disk space.
Okay.
So I have created two queue managers now, queue manager A and queue manager B. So let's communicate the queue manager A and queue manager B using that. So when you want to communicate queue manager A to queue manager B, first we have to go to the queues and create a remote queue definition. So remote queue definition has the address of the destination queue manager. It is a one definition. So where we will keep the address of the destination queue manager details. So my destination queue manager I am going to specify before creation. So my queue manager name is QMB. My queue name is QMB.localqueue. This is my destination. And IP address and host name is my local host only, because of my queue managers both are running in the locally. Local host, and port number is 1415. So these are the details of the destination queue manager. Now let's create that remote queue definition at the queue manager A side. Go to the remote queue definition and create my remote queue definition name is, you can specify the remote queue definition is any name. I am going to be specify the remote queue definition name is RQD_QMB. This is just template only. So this template is getting created using this system.default.remote.queue, which is a one system default object. If you are trying to create any object, that object will be created using the existing template. If you are creating the remote queue definition related one template already existed. Using that existing template only, you will create any object. Okay. Now I am going to create one remote queue definition with the name of RQD_QMB, and just click on the next. Here we have to specify the remote queue name. What is the destination side remote queue name? This is my queue name, QMB_LQ. What is the destination queue manager name? QMB. What is the transmission queue name? Here, this transmission queue name and remote queue manager name, in point-to-point communication, they will create the same name of the destination queue manager. They will create the same name of the destination queue manager. Okay. So as I said some time back, so if the message is persistent messages, if the queue depth reach it to the 5000, the message will be lying in the transmission queue at the source side. So here, where we have to create this transmission queue with the name of QMB, we have to create a transmission queue name in the source side. In the queue manager A side, we have to create with the name QMB one local queue. Just click on the finish. Now let's create one local queue. Go to the queues, go to the new and go to the local queue and create QMB. Create QMB.
Ram.
Yeah.
Okay, here you are creating the QMB and it's taking the default parameters from the local queue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But when you create a dead letter queue, you mention that you have to take the parameters from the dead letter queue.
Yes.
If you don't mention the dead letter queue, then it will take the default parameters from the local queue. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now I am going to be create one queue name with the QMB with the default local queue. So these are the system default object local queue template. We are assigning the QMB local queue QMB to these parameters. I am going to be create local queue only, but that local queue should be a transmission queue, not local queue exactly. Local queue, what local queue will does? Local queue will store the messages. It will not transmit the message. But I wanted to make my transmission should be used for to transmit the message, to send the message from the one queue manager to another queue manager. So how do you do the transmission? So we have to change the usage attribute normal to transmission. When you make the usage attribute as normal to transmission, this local queue will act as a transmission queue. Now this local queue will become as a transmission queue or XMIT queue. See the difference. Here the remote queue definition is something arrow symbol here. Here the transmission queue is something like different arrow symbol. If you create a local queue, let's see that I will create one local queue, something AB. Now see that local queue. The local queue having AB is local queue. It has the message. If you see that something like one icon is the message symbol. So where we can store the messages. If you see inside, there is the message symbol is existed, message icon. So AB is a local queue, QMB also local queue only, but it is a transmission queue. This is a transmission queue. We are created local queue, both are local queues only. But when you change the usage attribute normal to transmission, even AB also will act as a transmission queue. I am changing for even AB also as a transmission queue. So let's see that here AB also become the transmission queue. Both are local queues only. If you see, queue type is local only. When you change the usage attribute as normal to transmission, then it will act as a transmission queue. Now if you see AB again, it's a local queue. So like that, so transmission queue will be get created. Now this AB not required as of now. One second. Yeah, one second. I'm getting call. Hello. Hello, Nimal. Hello. Agent. Sir, तुम्हारे पाइन था जिस तरह. Okay. So here actually, yeah, tell me something you are asking, Ramesh.
Ram, Pawan here.
Yeah, Pawan.
Ram, can you give me a little description about local queue and transmission queue?
Yeah, both are same. Local queue and transmission queue both are same. But local queue can only storing the messages. Only storing the messages. But transmission queue can store the messages and can transmit the message from that over the channel. Over the channel, it will transmit the message. I will show you the difference here. I will show you the difference here, how the transmission queue will work, how the local queue will work. Okay, so let me configure this intercommunication. I will show you the difference between the local queue and transmission queue. Okay, now after this transmission queue get created, we have to create a channel from the queue manager A to queue manager B. Let's go to the channel. We have the 6 types of channels. We are going to use the combination is sender and receiver combination. Sender, this sender, and this is the receiver. The source side we are going to create sender channel. Receiver side we will create the receiver channel. Now I am going to create a queue manager channel name called queue manager A dot queue manager B with the channel name. This channel also using the one of the template of the system object, system dot default dot sender. Just click on the next. Here we have to specify the connection name, destination queue manager IP address and port number. So my destination queue manager IP address is as of now localhost, and port number is 1415. What is our transmission queue name? Pawan, what is our transmission queue name we have created in the source side? Pawan or Rajshekhar, anybody? What is the transmission queue name?
QMB.
Yes, QMB.
Yes.
Okay. So now, these are the 2 important parameters we have to specify while creating the sender channel. So this is very important. The star symbol also it is showing, right? It means it is mandatory. So these parameters mandatory we have to specify. Just click finish. Now source side we have done the configuration. Let's see that. Go to the destination side. Create a local queue called. What is our local queue? Our local queue name is QMB underscore LQ. Just next and finish. And create a receiver channel. Go to the new receiver channel QMA.QMB. You need not to specify any parameter. Only just create receiver channel with the type of receiver channel type and finish. You need not to specify anything. Okay. Now let's start the channel. Go to the channels. Before starting the channel, try to ping the channel. Ping. Ping will verify that whether destination is available or not. Yes, you got the successful data. Successful. WebSpeed MQ successfully sent to the remote queue manager and received the data return. Done. And try to start the channel. Now sender channel also got started. Okay. Now you are able to put message from the destination queue manager A to source queue manager A to source queue manager B. Now try to put message in the remote queue definition. So we have to put message to only remote queue definition. I am trying to put message. Hi, this is an intercommunication. Hello, the message 1, message 2. So like that I have sent some messages, okay. Now if you go and see that queue manager side B, queue def, that message has been received. Okay, this is the messages received. So you asked me what is the difference between the local queue and transmission queue, right? I will make this queue as a transmission queue, a local queue. Okay, so before that, stop the channels. If you are doing any change in the transmission queue, we have to stop the channel and make it as inactive mode always. Stop. Just right click on the channel and stop it. And go to the QMB and change the usage attribute normal to transmission to normal now. Okay. Now try to start the channel. I am getting that the queue specified in the channel definition is not a transmission queue. Okay. So this is the exception I am getting. because I have changed my transmission queue to local queue. So local queue cannot transmit the message. Local queue cannot transmit the message. If we want to change it local queue to transmission queue, we have to change the usage attribute as normal to transmission. Then only your queue will become as a transmission queue. It is possible to transmit the message. Now I am going to change the normal to transmission. Now let's start the channel. Now your channel will get started. Now your channel is getting initialized and running status. So that here when you put message to the remote queue definition having this header. Remote queue name is QMB_LQ. Remote queue manager name is QMB. Transmission queue name is QMB. So when the message has been come to the remote queue definition, the queue manager will add these three fields to your message. Now the queue manager will try to identify what is the transmission queue name. The transmission queue name is QMB. Is there any name with the QMB existed in my local? Yes, there is a QMB existed locally. Then the message will go to the local QMB transmission queue. QMB is configured in the channel level. QMB is configured in the channel level. Here I specified. So now my channel always will listen to your QMB transmission queue. If you see here, open input count and open output count. Open input count means someone is receiving the message from the queue. Open output queue means someone is putting message to the transmission queue. This putting can be done only if the channel is not able to put message to the destination queue. If the channel is not able to put to the destination queue, that time this open output count, that process will try to put message to this transmission queue itself. What is open input count? So the channel will try to read the message from the QMB transmission queue and it will send to the destination queue manager B. Okay. Now, so come to the today's session, dead letter queue. So what happened if the dead letter queue not existed? So my queue manager B side, dead letter queue is not existed. Let's see that dead letter queue is existed or not. Go to the queue manager properties. Go to the extended properties. We have a dead queue. This is dead letter queue. This is as of now empty. It means dead letter queue is not existed for the queue manager. By default, dead letter queue is not existed for the queue manager. We can able to assign while creating queue manager. We can able to assign also, but I have not assigned that dead letter queue. Now I will create one dead letter queue and I will assign to my queue manager. Before that, we will see the scenarios when the dead letter queue is not existed, what happened. So let make it my queue depth is something like 6 messages. So my queue can store only 6 messages. Here if you see, already my queue depth is 4. How many messages I can store? I can store only up to 6 messages only. I can store only 6 messages. Let's try to put the message to the remote queue definition. Then the message will go to the QMB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Already there are 6. Already there are 4 messages. I send that again 6 or 7 messages. More than 6 7 messages I send. I am storing only 6 messages. But where are the rest of the messages? Already there are existing messages 4. Again only 2 messages can storing that my queue. But I send more than 6 messages. So where are the 5 messages has been gone? Those 5 messages are lost. Those 5 messages are lost. Because of I am sending the non-person message. Go and see the channel status. Channels are still running status. It is not in retrying status. My message is non-person message. How do you know that whether you are sending the non-person message or person message? Just browse the message. If you see here somewhere property called persistency will be there. Here see, all I am sending the non-person messages. So when you browse the message, just right click, browse. When you browse the message, you are able to see the messages, right, which are in the queue. When you see the persistency property, I am sending the persistency is non-persistent messages. I am sending the non-persistent messages. So this is the reason your message is lost. Even the queue level also you can able to see the property. Just go to the default persistency. What is there here? Not persistent. Even go to the transmission queue also. Check the what is the default persistency. Non-persistency. Go to the queue manager B local queue. Check the persistency. So what is there? Not persistent. So everywhere, so all the places I am setting the persistency is not persistency. So you are sending the non-persistent messages. You are sending the non-persistent messages so that your messages will be lost when the destination queue become full. When the destination queue become full. Let's see one more scenario. If it is a persistent message, I will make that my queue is a persistency. Just change the persistence. Okay, let's change the persistency. Now my transmission queue depth is 0. My channels are running fine. There is no issue. Let's try to put message to the remote queue definition. Okay, I send some messages. If you see now, current depth is reached to 6 at the transmission queue. Current depth is 6 now and 7. Total 7 messages I sent. All 7 messages come and sit into the transmission queue. Now go to the channel. Your channel is in retrying status now. If you see, there is something like a retrying symbol. Your channel will go to running and retrying. It will go to running and retrying status continuously. So how long it will go to retrying status? So then channel level there is a retry mechanism. If you see here, short retry count is 10 within the 60 seconds. Long retry interval is 1200 seconds. So these many times it can be retry count. So during the short retry count, your channel will go to the retrying status continuously. Means running status and retrying status. During the short retry count, during the 60 seconds of time, your channel will go to the running and retry. Once this short retry count is completed, it will start the long retry count. During this long retry count is touches, your channel is continuously retrying status. Your channel is in continuously retrying status. It will not go to running status or something. So if issue has been fixed, we have to go and start the channels manually. But during this 60 seconds of time, your channel will get automatically started when the issue has been fixed. But during the long retry count interval, your channel will not be started automatically. Your channel is in continuously retrying status. Once this long retry count is completed, your channel will go to the stopped status. Okay, so this is the retry mechanism. Now here, my channel is going to running status and retrying status continuously. But here, so if I am sending message to the different queue also, it will not go. If you see here, I have as of now only one queue. Let me create one more queue. So QMB underscore LQ1. I am creating new queue. Okay. Let's create one more remote queue definition. So my remote queue definition name is RQD underscore QMB underscore 1 or something. My remote queue definition name is QMB underscore LQ1. Remote queue name. Queue manager name is QMB. Transmission queue name is QMB. Now let's try to put message here. See that even you are not able to send message to the different queue also. See, the message has not reached to here. The message is pile up at the transmission queue level only. It will be pile up here only. And what we did now, something wrong. If you see here, all the messages lying in the transmission queue itself, but there are some few messages has been sent to this queue because of when the channel was running status. It suddenly it will go to running status. It suddenly it will go to the retrying status, right? During that time, what happened? The message has been reached to this queue, but usually the message will not go. It will be pile up in the transmission queue itself. Okay, and so here actually we are not able to send message to even so different queue also. So this is blocking the communication between the other queues, right? So to avoid this kind of issues, we are going to use the concept called dead letter queue. We are going to use the concept called dead letter queue. So what does dead letter queue? So this kind of issues, when the queue full condition, when the queue is inhibited condition, when the queue not found condition, when the max message length issues, during that time your message may lose if it is a persistent message. Okay, if it is a non-persistent message, and if it is a persistent message, your message will be lying in the transmission queue and channel communication will be blocked. To avoid this kind of issues, so if the channel is stopped, means definitely it will impact to the other queues, right? So business will be impacted. So I don't want to make your business to lose anything. So if the particular queue is getting an issue, means only the particular queue related only you should have the pile up or should have some impact. So this should not impact to the other queues. Okay. To avoid this kind of issues, we are going to use the concept called actually dead letter queue. Now go to the queue manager properties and go to the properties. Go to the extended. Specify the name. I am going to use the dead.queue. Just OK. Okay. Now create a queue called dead queue. Dead.queue and go to the select system.dead.letter.queue and use the system.dead.letter.queue. This one. Just next and finish. Now your queue, this dead queue will become as a dead letter queue. Now let's wait. All the messages will come to dead letter queue now. Wait for some time. Your messages will come to the dead letter queue one by one. Now started. Queue depth is reached to 1 now. So automatically the receiver channel will verify is there in dead letter queue existed for queue manager. If the dead letter queue is existed, the message will try to put message to the destination queue, and if you are not able to put message to destination queue, then it will try to verify the dead letter queue is existed or not. If the dead letter queue is existed, then the message will go to the dead letter queue. If you see here, one by one all the messages are coming to the dead letter queue. see here, even that QMB LQ also becomes 12 now. So this QMB LQ1, it is not getting impacted. If you try to put now all the messages will go to the QMB directly. Even the queue full condition still existed. Even the destination side is queue full condition still existed, but it is not impacting to this local queue. So the whatever they are sending from the queue A to queue another B, this particular local queue, the messages are coming. But this queue related message will be go to the dead letter queue. If we send message to this queue RQ underscore this one, the message will go to the dead letter queue. Now 7, it will become actually 10 or something. Yeah.
Now you are using this same channel between both the queues, right?
Yeah, both queues I am using the same channel.
That is why the first time when there is increase,
Yeah.
even though the other queue depth is not reached, the messages are still lying in the transmission queue.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you don't define when you did not define the dead letter queue.
Yes. Correct.
Suppose if you have a different channel among those queues, like you have one channel for LQ and other channel for LQ1,
Yeah.
and you did not define the dead letter queue.
Okay.
Okay. So will those messages still be in?
No. So per queue, different transmission queue and different channel means it will not impact. It will not be piled up in the transmission queue. If you are defining the one transmission queue for the one queue, so and one channel, then it will not be lost. Only the same channel and the same transmission queue being used for these two local queues. If you go and see that channel level, I am using the only one transmission queue, QMB. Go and see the remote queue definition. I am using even this transmission, even that this local queue also, I am using the same transmission queue. So two local queues, I am using the same transmission queue. These are one local queue and the same transmission queue. Channel also one channel. But if you are using the different transmission queue and different channel and different local queues, then it will not be a problem.
Okay. One other question is.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that may not be valid question. Okay, go ahead, no problem.
Okay. So this is about the dead letter queue. Let's go and see the dead letter queue now. 11 messages. I want to browse the message. I want to see what is there in the dead letter queue. If you see this, the message data, I can see it as only DLH. What is DLH? Dead letter header. When the message has been wrote to the dead letter queue, your message will be hidden by the dead letter header. Your message cannot be readable format. So how do you make those messages read from the dead letter queue? So what we have to do now, when the message has been lying in the dead letter queue, that message cannot be processable. That cannot be processable until you route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. First, I want to know why the message being put into dead letter queue. I want to know the reason for each message, why the message is being sent to the dead letter queue. If we want to see the reason, let's open the dead letter queue message header. Just right click on any message, go to properties. There is issue actually here. When that MQ 7.5 version onwards, we cannot see the dead letter header here actually. We cannot see the dead letter header here. So we have to use the command, or we have to use some support packs. We have to use some support packs. So I will use some command actually to read the dead letter header. I have one command. AMQS BCG space dead.q space Q another B. So this is the command to read the, to browse the message, So this is browsing the message, and at the same time it is displaying the complete header of the message. So this is the header of the message. It is started from the here. It is reading the message, and the message is here under dead letter header. Okay. Now what I will do now, I will identify the why the message has been put to dead letter queue. So in order to do that one, we have a mechanism called to convert into this dead letter header into the hexadecimal format. This is the dead letter header. So this header should be converted into the hexadecimal format, so that you are able hexadecimal format to your decimal actually. So I will convert using that 0805. So I am just converting this one. I will tell you how to convert under. Don't worry. We have to take this first, second line, third, 1, 2, 3, fourth and fifth line. This fourth, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth line. Take these two lines and convert into this MQRC format. MQRC 0x. These two zeros first. This one and this one, and this one and this one. Here like that. First 0 here actually in the fifth line. Take the second 0. I will show you that one. How to know? I will go to the paint. Okay, you are able to see, right? Same thing is there here also. 0508, yes. 0508. First, what we have to do now? We have to take this one, these two zeros. First, this line and this line take. First this line and this 0. Okay, and second one is the third, this one and this one. First two characters, take this first two zeros. Under the first two zeros, left side is first one always. Left side is first 0. The second 0 is even the same. 0 0 is same. I am just describing about this 0508. Here actually 0508. Take this first 0 and later 08. And take this first 0 and later 05. Okay. So here I am doing like that only. When I am converting, so I am taking the 08 first, later 05. So here actually same thing, 08, 0, first 00 and 00 and next 08 and 05. So when you convert this one, you will get like this, MQRC Q full. So what is mean by MQRC 2053? Same thing, Q full condition. You are getting the reason code, why the message has been sent to the dead letter queue. So I am getting the reason code is 2053. MQ level, all will able to troubleshoot using the reason codes only. So every exception, when the application is not able to connect, when application is having some issue MQ level, so everything will get some reason code. So that reason codes can be converted using MQRC, using MQRC space 2053 or 2085 or 2033. So like that, everything actually will be in reason code. So we can able to troubleshoot very easily by seeing this reason codes. So my queue is having the queue full condition. Which queue having the queue full condition? If you see that this is the queue under dead letter header, you are able to see the QMB underscore local queue. This is the QMB underscore local is queue is a queue, and which queue manager? Under queue manager B. Under queue manager B, there is a queue called QMB underscore LQ. So this is the queue having the issue. This is the queue having the queue full condition. Let's go and see the queue full condition. Yes, we already made change the queue depth is 6. So go and see the extended. Go to the max depth. Max depth also 6 and current depth also 6. And we have to change the queue depth. Now I have changed the queue depth, but what are existed in the dead letter queue, those messages cannot be routes to dead letter queue automatically. So to route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue after fixing the issue, we have to use a concept called dead letter handler. Using the dead letter handler, we will route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. So what is mean by dead letter handler? So dead letter handler is a one kind of process which is a one control command. Using this control command, we will move the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. We will move the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. So how do you route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue? Using the control command. So we have to write a one rule table definition. We have to write a one rule table definition. Let me move. If you see here, I have written small rule table definition here. So this is actually wait S in bracket S, retry interval is 20 seconds. This is some syntaxed thing actually. So we have only in the MQ level we have to write only code means here only. This is not a something Java code or something. This is MQ rule table definition code. I will give the what are the syntax, exact syntax, so that you can use any scenario, so that you can able to move the message from dead letter queue to your destination queue. Okay, this syntax is enough. You need not write a big syntax. This is enough actually. Now we have to change the somewhere MQRC queue is inepted condition. I am going to change it to the MQRC star. Any reason? Action forward. Forward queue name is QMB underscore LQ. And without header. So I am using this the same rule table definition I am using to route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. Let's take a command prompt, and I am going to use run MQ DLQ, which is a dead letter handler command, and dead letter queue name is dead.queue, queue manager name is QMB, and use the rule table definition path. Okay, so this is the rule table definition path we have to specify. Just enter. Now go and see the queue depth of the dead letter queue. Now it is 11, right? It will become 0. So all messages move to the dead letter queue. And now you can able to browse the message. You can able to read the message data. So earlier when the message has been in the dead letter queue, the message data is DLH. But now you are able to see that exact message. I have sent this. These are the messages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 something. So this is how we can route the message from the dead letter queue to destination queue using the dead letter header. Using the dead letter handler. Dead letter handler is a one kind of process. So this process can be route the message from dead letter queue to destination queue. Okay. I cannot able to type.
Ram?
Yeah.
So this rule table generally used to move the message from dead letter queue to the actual queue.
Yes.
Or are there any other
No,
purpose
to actual
we can-
queue only. You can move to everywhere, anywhere, but actually when you are moving the particular destination queue only, it is advantageous so that those messages can be processed. If you are moving to some different queue, there is no point of moving to different queue actually. but application will listen only at a time only one queue. Each application will listen only one queue. If the different queue, what is the use actually? Those messages will be failed there.
No. My question was,
Yeah.
this rule table.
Okay.
What are the main other functionality? Basically what functionality can we achieve through rule table?
Only
Like one
moving
is
the messages, only moving the messages, or we can able to ignore the messages, or something like discard the message from the dead letter queue. Okay, any reason, which reason you are trying to, particular reason also you can able to move the message to the destination queue. I am specified here, reason is star, any reason. You can specify something like MQRC, queue full condition. Only the particular queue full condition related only you can able to move the messages.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so this is about the dead letter header and dead letter handler concept. So let's see the tomorrow different concept. Just practice from your side. So this is a little bit important only. So dead letter queue usage. So see for the other scenarios. My use cases like queue full, not only queue full condition. Check for the queue inhibited condition. I think something like you can able to do one more scenario. The remote queue is not found. Whatever the remote queue definition level you have specified, the queue is not existed in the destination side. Those scenarios see from your side and troubleshoot yourself. Okay.
Okay, Ram,
Yeah.
this is for
Yeah. So, Ramesh, tell me something.
yeah. If you can go ahead, is question first.
So
Okay. So Ram, if you have few minutes, I have few questions. Otherwise, we can discuss this tomorrow.
we'll discuss tomorrow, or you can call me.
Okay, Ram. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Tomorrow, yeah.
okay, Ram. My question is, you have created one rule which is simple rule for only one queue.
Yeah.
For real time, it might be having a lot of queues and other stuff. Na?
Yes.
So how many rule table we will use?
No, single rule table is enough. You can specify the n number of reasons.
Okay, how it's like we have to write one by one, next line, next line, next line.
Yes.
Okay, so all we have to pass the three things: reason, action,
Yes.
and then forward.
There are some
This is
other
the
other
syntax.
parameters
And
also.
what is
I will share those parameters. Mostly we'll use this one only. You can specify the reason.
okay,
here.
what is the first line? Wait equal to yes,
Wait
we
is
try interval.
every 20 seconds. My dead letter rule, dead letter handler has to go and check the message dead letter queue depth.
Oh,
This is
wait
the rule
means
table
just
definition,
wait
right?
and it will try for every 20
Every
seconds.
20 seconds it will retry.
Oh, then this prompt won't come up.
Yes,
When it will come, we have to
until,
manually stop this.
It cannot be stopped until you stop from your side. It will try every
Oh,
20 seconds. It will go and
okay.
fetch the data from the dead letter queue.
Oh, okay. So the same thing will be, the dead letter queue will be running in production always, in this case?
Yes, you should
Always
run
it will
always
check for
actually.
some queues. I'm sorry?
Yeah, we have to run that every time. That is depends
it will
how you
always
are
keep
going to
on-
use the dead letter handler. So in my environment, we never use dead letter queue actually. We are using dead letter queue. If the message is moving to dead letter queue, simply we will purge. We will clear that dead letter queue.
Because of non-persistent.
Not non-persistent. There is a sync reply will be there, right? I cannot wait for the more than 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So there is no use after 2
that is
seconds your reply has been sent to the destination.
Like timeout or something
Yeah,
like that
timeout
they
or
mention.
something actually. So due to some reason the message might be went to the dead letter queue, right? So that I'm waiting for the response. I didn't get within 3 seconds. Your request will be timed out. So after I found that the message has been sent to the dead letter queue, I cannot reprocess them. No use.
Like a transaction, online transaction related details,
Online
something.
transaction
So you
related
cannot
or something.
reproduce.
Yeah. Otherwise, we have a
For the receiver side,
every company they have some reconciliation team will be there. So if the somewhere it is request is pending, they will do the manual simulation. So manually they will move to the next flow. So that if the message has been sent to dead letter queue also, due to some reason it was in the some status. If it is it is moving the all the places, then the request status will be go to the successful, right? If it is somewhere it is pending, so the message will be having the request will be having something like one kind of status. So what the team will do actually, when the request is pending for the particular status, they will move to the next flow using the manual process. So what they will do in the database level, they will insert the some table, some status, or they will move some message with that same XML. They will take from the somewhere, and they will push into some different queue, the same queue or different queue, so that the message will go to the next level. Manually they will do. Or we can reprocess them using dead letter header. Dead letter handler use this concept.
So here we can do only put it back to the same queue.
Yes.
That's all we can
Yes.
do. Nothing more.
Yeah.
It is up to the application to process it or just discard it.
Yes.
But even if you move, the application won't be in a position to process or something, or still it will process. It
If
depends
it is
on the algorithm.
a sync
Yes.
reply, it will not be processed. It will be timeout. So the message will be lying in the queue itself.
So then we have to manually clear
Yes,
those
manually clear.
messages.
But queue manager level also we have a property that can be cleared automatically. These messages.
Oh, it's again the purging concept.
purging
It will purge the unused messages for a certain time.
That has to be set by the application level. Has to set the expiry. So application should set the expiry so that the message will get automatically expired certain time after some time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ram,
Yes, Pawan.
Ram, can I get some basics? Wherever I can get some basics so that a few things are bouncing over. So I just want to see. I can't wait till this Sunday. So if you guide me to some
Yeah.
blog where I can do the basics.
Yeah, sure, Raj and Pawan. What I will do now?
I think if there is any possibility to share any sessions and prepared sessions, that will be
Yeah,
helpful.
sure. I will share sessions. What I will do, I will take the one session to you people, basics at least. So what I will do, is it possible tonight from my time after 8 p.m.?
Afternoon 3 p.m.
8 p.m. from my time, IST.
8 p.m. IST. Okay.
I think so for you 10:30, right?
I'm in the PST time zone. It's around 8:30 for me. 8:30 for me.
For me, it's 10:30. Ramesh here. For me, only it's 10:30 p.m.
Okay, 10:30 p.m. Huh? For you 10:30 p.m. You are in Singapore, right? Okay. So is it fine for you 10:30 p.m.? Yes, at least half an hour, 45 minutes. I will take some basics.
Now only?
No, I'm asking you to Ramesh and Pawan and Rajshekhar. So is it possible to attend the today's session at 8 p.m. IST?
I have no problem, Ram.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also don't have any.
Rajshekhar also don't have any problem. Pawan, do you have any problem?
Okay, I'll join for 1 hour. Anyways, I will be in office, but I'll try to join 8 p.m. IST.
So what is our feasible time?
See, actually, my work time is 6 p.m. IST to 2:30 a.m. IST.
Oh my
But
God.
for today, at least for today, I will take 1 hour nap and I will just.
Okay, if possible, just try to join today's session at 8 p.m. Okay, so I will send the link to you people. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Carry
Ram, you send me that document also, whatever it is, the installation one,
sure.
the
I
production,
will send.
in my mail. Do you know my mail ID?
Yeah, I have your email ID.
Okay, please send it.
Yeah.
I will go through that one.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
And Ram, what about this installation part? I mean, will you send me any link or any software where I can download and?
Yeah, sure. Can you call me? Can you call me after some time when you possible?
Sure.
Huh?
I'll call you after 9 a.m. IST. Is that fine?
Yeah, fine.
Or
Fine, 9 a.m.
I think you might be. Okay, I'll call you at 9 a.m. IST.
Okay.
Thanks, Ram. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Ram.
Okay, thank you, Ramesh, Rajshekhar,
Thank you,
Yusuf. Yusuf, are you following?
Ram, I will call you in a couple of.
Yeah, Raj, you can call me anytime, no issue.
Yeah, I will call you in a couple of minutes.
Okay, Yusuf, you are following, right? Everything is fine?
Yes, sir, fine, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.